Now we bring in the Central Connecticut State Blue Devils head coach Peter Rossimondo, wide receiver over there Courtney Rush, Chris Tinkham, a lineman sitting between those two guys. And you know, Pete, what can be said about what you guys did? It was really historic last year, going unbeaten in the NEC, one of the few times that's ever happened in the league, and now you're going for that repeat. That's always a chip on everybody's shoulder when they win the championship, isn't it?
And we're chasing that thing just like everybody else is this year. It's, you know, we're starting at the bottom and working our way back up. You know, there's no one's handed me that trophy just yet. So, you know, we got to go out and earn it just like everybody else. And, you know, I tell our team, we start in January, we turn the page, new chapter. We graduated a bunch of guys, and, you know, we got to replace them with some young kids. So we're just gonna do what we do. Same thing we did last year.
You know, I was going to say that, you know, when I first started doing the games 3 years ago, I thought there was such a difference in line play, size, speed, etc., with some of those teams out west in Pennsylvania, the Duquesnes and the St. Francis. You guys match up pretty well now. And when did you start to realize, hey, we're as good as those guys, and you know, if we play as we're capable of, we got a chance to compete with anybody?
Well, that's the plan was always to build from the front back, you know, and you got to redshirt those guys, you got to develop those guys, and we finally did it on the offensive line. And you know, on the defensive line, we brought in guys like Chris Tinkham and Brandon Purritt and those guys, and we developed those guys throughout the years. And now they're upperclassmen, bigger, stronger, a little bit faster, tougher, understand the league. They know what they're going to see week in and week out, and then the other parts of it just kind of come with it, you know.
Chris and Courtney, I want to ask each of you, what went right last year for you on defense and on offense that allowed you guys to go unbeaten in the conference? And what did that teach you about what you have to do this year to do the same thing again?
I believe that basically we made big plays when big plays needed to be happening. Guys stepped up and they knew their role. We just made sure that everybody was on the same page and played together as a team. Our leaders, stuff got on their back, and you know, they took the load and carried it for everybody. So just looking to keep that up.
You know, I was going to say, with making big plays defensively, you guys led the conference in turnovers. How'd you get that done?
I think pressure on the quarterback definitely helps. So, you know, big thing with the D-line, and then good coverage in the secondary. So as long as they're doing their job and everybody's working towards the same goal, big plays will happen.
Courtney, your turn.
Well, definitely from an accountability standpoint and a leadership standpoint, we stepped up last year. We had some great leaders in Naj and Randall, and even Jake, you know, as an offensive leader. And so, I mean, as far as this year goes, I think, you know, we need to do the same thing. Everybody's, you know, taking accountability and is ready to go. We know what we need to do, so we just need to go out and do
Talk
it.
about making big plays. This guy led the league in conference with yards per catch. How'd you get that done?
22 plus, I believe it was, per reception.
Yes, sir. I mean, my big thing is speed. You know, I've always been a speed guy. I ran track in high school. And so I like to stretch the field. But this year I'd like to, you know, really show off that I'm a versatile player, that I can run short routes. You know, I can get in and out of my breaks. And I just like to show off a little bit.
Got to ask you guys about some of the fellas you lost, because it was a championship team that had some championship players that, you know, you can't keep them forever. Coach, I mean, I'm looking at Nash and Laguerre and Kahn and Brown. I mean, these are really good guys. You're going to need some leadership here to step up, and you're going to need some young guys to fill those roles.
Yeah, those are great players and great people. You know, more importantly, they were great locker room guys, and they kept it together for us when we started out 0-3. You know, and I know everybody forgets we started out 0-3. Those guys kept it together.
You reminded them, though, didn't you?
Oh, we sure did, every day. But our guys had done a great job of stepping up from January on, of taking over that leadership role, and they learned from those guys. And winning helps. It helps develop more winning. So we've done that, and I think, you know, we return a lot of players on offense. Nine starters. We lost a great player in Nash, but got Drew John Guillaume back in the backfield, and Jake's back, and Joey Fields is back off an injury. Tight ends are back, 4 linemen. Defense, we got Chris back. We got Kenny Keene. So we got some pieces still left over from that championship team that can help develop some of these younger guys to fill those roles. But we're never going to replace those guys. We got to start to develop guys to hopefully fill in those voids.
You know, one of the pieces you do have back that I was really, really impressed with his growth and development, and I'm going to give you credit for it, was Dolagala. I mean, I thought he's always shown flashes, you know, the arm strength, the size. You even let him run once in a while when you get in the red zone. But he stayed away from turnovers. He just looked like he started to play with a lot more confidence. I'm sure having that guy as a receiver helped him. But,
It did, but
how
Ron-
did you get him to, to grow and develop the way he did?
The offensive line, we gave him 4 sacks in the league last year, a 6 overall. And so I think that helps. You're standing back there, you're feeling comfortable. We ran the football. When a quarterback has a run game, he has the ability to run play action, bootlegs, and the defense can't key on one thing or another. So it helped us to develop a lot more balance, which helped Jake, because that's the type of quarterback he is. He's not a guy that's going to sit in the shotgun and throw it 65, 70 times. He needs balance, and we provided him with that with the offensive line, and we hope to continue to do that.
Guys, last year you had the NCAA playoff bid by virtue of being the Northeast Conference champions. I want to ask both of your players, what was that experience like? What did it mean to you to get the first ever NCAA playoff bid for the school?
Obviously, it was a huge deal. We were really excited going into it. A few things happened the week before, not ideal situations, but just the type of team that we were. We grinded through it, and, everybody put in their best effort. I think that a couple things could have changed the outcome, but we're just looking to get back in that position this year now that we know what it feels like and aim for that goal again.
Let me ask you this. You had to feel good knowing we belong with these guys. They're not out of our league. We can compete with these guys. In fact, we could have beat these guys if we played at our best, or as you said, and maybe had avoided some of those problems that happened the week before. But talk to me about that in terms of the confidence that comes from playing equally with some of the teams, in New Hampshire, that's considered one of the elite teams in the country.
Yeah, I think that all rankings, all prior judgment, all that went out the window after the first quarter. I think everybody felt comfortable, and everybody, like you said, we felt like we belonged. So just going on to next season, I think we have that same mindset. We belong, we are an elite team, and we're ready to show everybody that again.
As Coach says, it takes a lot of hard work, and you got to build from the bottom to get to the top. My question for you is it hard for you guys as players to kind of forget that we won last year's championship, but this year we really do have to start at square one again?
I think Coach Ross does a good job of reminding us that, every season does get put to bed at the end of the season. We started over in January, and it's not like we ever took our foot off the gas either.
Mm-hmm.
Our training is not let up. Coach Ross's intensity, the intensity of the whole staff.
He's Italian. He's got to be intense.
Exactly. So I'm telling you, it wasn't hard to put it to bed, because you have to go back even harder, having everybody expect this from you now.
Appreciate it very much, guys. Thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Good luck this season,
Pete
guys.
Rossimondo and the Central Connecticut State Blue Devils.